On today's news, Tommy Dreamer has been indefinitely suspended from Impact Wrestling, more NXT contract updates, a review of SmackDown, a review of Rampage, and more. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and enable notifications for daily wrestling news videos, but just know that I will never dance for your subscriptions ever again. Ollie will, he has no self-respect, but that's why I'm the champion and he isn't.
Support WrestleTalk!
The latest episode of The Dark Side of the Ring took a look at the infamous plane ride from hell, a lot of which was already known about and spoken of in a light, whimsical manner. Haha, oh, look at those boys being boys and nearly killing everyone aboard with fighting. What are they like? However, the episode also brought up some more of the unknown side of things, including alleged sexual harassment. Impact Wrestling star and executive Tommy Dreamer made some incredibly distasteful comments during the show about Ric Flair's behavior on the plane ride from hell. The flight attendant from the flight, Heidi Doyle, told her story of Flair exposing himself to her and not allowing her to leave in the back of the plane. Dreamer completely dismissed these actions, saying Flair was playing his character and everyone gets offended by everything these days, comparing the sexual assault to his ponytail, which is, you know, not at all the same thing. These comments sparked massive online outrage from fans, and Impact Wrestling took swift action, as PW Insider reported that Dreamer has been suspended indefinitely from the company. The report states that Impact's Ed Nordholm sent out an internal email stating that Dreamer had been asked to leave Nashville immediately and that his comments were out of line with the company's core values. Impact then confirmed to Fightful that Dreamer had been suspended with an official statement. The views expressed by Tommy Dreamer in the interview are completely unacceptable. We can confirm Dreamer was suspended this morning with immediate effect, pending further action. Dreamer has been with Impact Wrestling since April of 2018, working in several roles for the company during that time. It seems like every other day there is a report of another WWE star whose contract is expiring soon. Now the reason why so many NXT deals in particular are expiring now has been revealed. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reported that when WWE went through a major re-signing phase with their contracts in 2019, many of the NXT stars who were offered new deals chose not to sign. The report states that NXT stars were not given much incentive to sign the new contracts, with the deals being nowhere near the deals that Raw and SmackDown stars were being offered at the time. The report also says that there have been different payout structures for different NXT stars, but it was not just top stars who turned down the new deals. The top stars who were offered new deals but did not sign include Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano, as reported by Fightful. Edge was not on SmackDown last night after Seth Rollins attempted to murder him in Madison Square Garden. Their SummerSlam rematch ended with Rollins hitting the curb stomp on Edge's surgically repaired neck and Edge being carted out in an ambulance. Now it's been reported by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Edge will be off television for several months, and the stretcher job was done to write him off the show. The report did not state exactly how long Edge will be gone, but it was noted it will likely be for a few months. Rollins did cut a seething promo on Edge on last night's SmackDown, saying he isn't done with Edge, but it does not appear that their impending rubber match will be anytime soon. And now it's time for my review of SmackDown in about 5 minutes. Thank you for being awesome Pledgehammers on Patreon, Gavin, Cash Money, Kashiwabara, and Victor Henry Napoleon Dynamite. You can get your own shoutouts and loads of extra WrestleTalk bonus content by visiting us at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. This SmackDown opened up with a recap of Edge vs. Rollins from last week, with Edge getting stretchered out, and then the Bloodline made their entrance, and while they did, we got a recap of the confrontation between Lesnar and Reigns from last week, and then we cut back to them, still making their entrance, and then we get a recap of Finn Balor coming out as the Demon last week. We are like 3 minutes into this show, and at least 2.5 minutes of that has been recaps. Hate that. Something I didn't hate was Paul Heyman's promo, who said that Reigns fears no beast, no demon, but everyone fears Reigns. And then here comes new WWE Champion Big E. Well, that's cool. With all the teasers of Big E taunting Paul Heyman and him actually cashing in on Bobby Lashley on Raw, I'm sure he's got something interesting to say to Reigns. I'm sure he's got something interesting to say to Reigns. He's got something interesting to say, right? He's got something to say, right? And here comes Finn Balor before E says anything. And after an ad break, it's Balor and Big E versus the Usos. Not gonna get a reason for Big E being here? No? Alright, cool. The match itself, though, was very, very fun. And the final sequence, essentially from when Big E gets the hot tag to the finish, was really fast-paced and exciting, leading to a climactic finish where Big E hit the big ending at the same time as Finn hit the co-up D-Gracky, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, on the other Uso at the same time. SmackDown Tag Team Champs get pinned, but on the other side are your Universal title #1 contender and your new WWE Champion, so there's not really a good team to lose either way. And then on Raw, it got announced we're going to be getting the Bloodline versus the New Day. What? Okay. I mean, I still won't watch Raw, but that's pretty cool for the people that do. I thought that might have been at Survivor Series, but they're doing it now. Alrighty. Backstage, Reigns asks Heyman if there's something he wishes to tell him, but Heyman tells him that he legitimately didn't know that Lesnar would be at SummerSlam, and the reason Lesnar is lying is because he's scared of Roman, and when he's scared, he spins a false narrative. So Reigns says, will he be at Extreme Rules? To which Heyman says, he won't be, and Reigns says, are you sure? Heyman responds saying he doesn't have that impression, and Reigns says he doesn't pay him to have impressions, he pays him to know in advance. This was some really good stuff, and it seems to me that they're setting up that Heyman really did know that Lesnar would be at SummerSlam, and that he might turn on Reigns at Crown Jewel, because it was confirmed that it will be Reigns versus Lesnar at Crown Jewel, which might be for the Universal title if Reigns retains over Balor at Extreme Rules, which he will. Rick Boogs defeated Robert Roode next. It's the same as all the other times that's happened. And then afterwards, Commander Aziz and Apollo Crews attack Nakamura and Boogs, and Crews demands a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. Something just feels off about that, asking for a rematch, and I just can't put my finger on it. Oh yeah, thanks Sean Rossap on Twitter for doing the stats. Nakamura is 7-0 against Crews in singles and tag matches since July. Why is this happening? Wins and losses should matter. We then get a recap of Happy Corbin and Kevin Owens featuring Logan Paul, before Owens says he's gonna beat Corbin in a match, and then Corbin beats him up on his entrance, and that's that. Alright, we then get a recap of Edge vs Rollins from last week for the second time on the show, and then Seth Rollins makes his entrance, and then there's an ad break, and then we go backstage to Paul Heyman. He has yet another fun interaction with Kayla Braxton before being taunted by Big E some more, saying he's gonna face Reigns at Survivor Series, and then E gets attacked by the Usos. And then we go back to Rollins in the ring. There was an ad break and 4 minutes and 15 seconds of SmackDown between the two times we saw Rollins on screen. That's a long time for him to just be chilling in the ring. Anywho, Rollins then cut an outstanding promo. I have been loving Rollins' promo work in the last couple of months, and I thought this was another excellent example. But of course, before that, he throws to the third recap of Edge vs Rollins from last week. This one lasting 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Why? But Rollins' promo afterwards was amazing. He made some very good points, like saying people told him he went too far last week, but he used a legal move in a legal match, so it was Edge who went too far, comparing the stomp on Edge's neck to accidentally standing on a cockroach. He says he needs to end Edge once and for all, so when Edge can come back, he needs to face him one more time. I like that this actually makes some kind of sense for a rematch, and Rollins is kind of unhinged, and I love it. Becky backstage says Extreme Rules will go the same way as SummerSlam, and then we got... wait, no. It can't be. A women's match on SmackDown? That can't be true. Zelina Vega and Carmella face a team of Liv Morgan and... wait, oh my god, it's Toni Storm! After about 2 minutes, Carmella got her face pushed into the turnbuckle, and she sold it as if she'd broken her nose and took a count-out loss. Morgan gets on the mic and says, oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your nose? Actually, I'm not sorry at all. Sick burn, Morgan! Sick! Roasted! Boom! Got him! It'll be Morgan versus Carmella at Extreme Rules, and you know what? If they actually give a shit about the match, I'd be curious to see it, because the two of them are probably the two most improved in-ring women's performers in WWE right now. Backstage later, Carmella takes her hand away from her face, and Vega says, oh, you're okay, and Carmella's like, oh, sweet. Well, I still hate her. Okay. Street Profits cut a promo. It was good. And then Finn Balor cut a promo that was very, very scripted. It was okay, it just... sounds weird, doesn't it? Because people don't talk that way. And then they put some special effects in to put the demon's face over Balor's face, and... ew. Dominic Mysterio faced Sami Zayn for the third time in 4 weeks. Dom and Ray make their entrance, and then we go to an ad break, and then we come back, and then we go to a backstage promo with Sonya Deville and Naomi, and then we go back to the ring for Sami's entrance. God, this pacing. Why can't you do segments properly and in order, WWE? Having said that, Naomi's backstage promo with Sonya was really good, with her showing a lot of fire, saying that one way or another she will get that match. She's a former 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. God, damn it. We then got told during the Sami and Dominic match that Naomi had been fined for insubordination to an official. Alright, I don't know how long that's been a thing, but sure. But back to the Sami and Dominic match. You see how all over the place this review is with segments? That's what this episode feels like. Sami won again, obviously. This time Ray didn't cost Dom though, he just lost because he's bad. Can we please go somewhere with this story? And the main event segment was Bianca Belair's homecoming to Knoxville, Tennessee, with video packages showing her history in the city, and holy hell, it's Mayor Kane. Of course he doesn't have a mask on. Kane then gives Bianca the key to Knoxville County. I don't know what that means, but it looks like a big gold cardboard key. Cool. And then they sing some sort of Knoxville song. Alright, and then here comes Becky Lynch, looking like all of the Spice Girls in one. She says she's just come out to shake Bianca's hand because tonight is her night, but Bianca holds onto her hand, goes for a KOD, but Becky counters, hits a manhandle slam, and that's it. Bianca doesn't get to stand tall in her hometown. Yeah, that checks out. And that was the show. It was a good week last week with the SmackDown show at MSG and Raw having Big E's big cash-in, and this SmackDown was another SmackDown. It was a pretty average SmackDown, all things considered. Back to the usual, I guess. Let me know what you thought in the comments and by voting on our poll on our community tab, where 80% of you voted for Bloodline versus New Day on Raw. This was a SmackDown. 3 out of 5. I have not much more to say. And now over to my intangible brother Tempest for a review of last night's Rampage in about 3 minutes. LIW for life.
You could say this about a lot of people, but how the fuck did they not push Ruby Soho? What's going on, WrestleTalk friends and fans? Tempest is back with another review of AEW Rampage in about 3 minutes. So this show opened up with the AEW World Tag Team title match. The Lucha Brothers took on the Butcher and the Blade. I doubt anyone went into this match thinking that the Butcher and the Blade were gonna get the win, but it was still a very good match, and sometimes that's all you need. They did a lot of really creative stuff in this match, like tying Penta's mask to the rope so that he couldn't help his partner, only for him to take off his own mask to help him make the comeback. Ooh, such a cool detail. This did lead to them getting the win in a very good match, but the Lucha Brothers were beaten down after the match by the Butcher, the Blade, and the rest of the Hardy family before Santana and Ortiz ran out to make the save. Ooh. Boy, do I want to see this match. It looks like we're going to be getting a slow burn towards the Santana-Ortiz Lucha Brothers feud, and that's okay with me. Build it up more and make me want to see it even more than I do right now. This was a fantastic way to open the show. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. After an excellent video package highlighting the rivalry between Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, we got another match featuring Anna Jay and the Bunny. I was actually really into this match. They gave both women plenty of time in the ring, and they used that time to further develop their story and build to another match next week after Anna Jay got the win and the Bunny and Penelope Ford knocked out Anna Jay and Ty Conti with brass knuckles. This is the most mid-card AEW women's feud, and it is getting so much more time on television than any of the women's matches have been getting on SmackDown of late. Not a bad match all in all. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't bad either. This gets a 3 out of 5. After the match, Matt Hardy punched his time clock to work triple overtime on this show as he called out an Orange Cassidy lookalike in the front row, hit him with a twist of fate, and began to cut his hair and shave his head. This has to be leading to a hair versus hair match with Matt Hardy and Orange Cassidy, and if that means a bald-headed Matt Hardy, that sounds like fun to me. Maybe then we can finally get a proper run for broken Matt Hardy in AEW. Everything that he did the first time around was so snake-bitten with no fans, I'd really like to see a proper run. We got the face-to-face promo with Britt Baker and Ruby Soho, and man, did these girls absolutely knock it out of the park. Both women were firing live rounds in this one, with Ruby Soho saying that Dr. Britt Baker was like every other person that she stepped in the ring with. She was selfish, entitled, and banging some dude in the back. Oh, some dude in the back, baby! Britt Baker had a few good lines of her own, saying that Ruby wants to be called the Runaway, but she didn't run away. She was fired. This ended with Ruby standing tall with the AEW Women's title in hand, and this made me want to see their match next week that much more. An excellent segment. This gets a 5 out of 5. Then we had the main event as Miro defended the TNT Championship against Fuego del Sol, with Fuego's car also on the line. The work here was still very good, with Fuego fighting throughout the entire match, trying to hit the Tornado DDT and never succeeding, with Miro kicking his head off of his shoulders for the finish. Fuego looked very good here, but the emotional significance of him fighting for a contract and being given one at the end of the match was much more powerful than him fighting for this title shot that not many people thought he was actually going to win. After the match, match, Miro stuffed the keys to Fuego's car in Fuego's mouth and locked him in the game over before Sammy Guevara ran out to make the save. Miro and Sammy Guevara looks to be the next big TNT Championship match, and that is very interesting to me. I could absolutely see Sammy Guevara being the one to take the TNT title from Miro. I thought this was a very solid main event. It gets a 4 out of 5. Sometimes it's difficult to rate these 1-hour rampages overall because nothing mind-blowing takes place on some of them, but it was still a very entertaining hour of pro wrestling, and that's all I need. This gets a 4 out of 5 as a result. And that just about wraps it up for me. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on this show and last night's SmackDown, make sure you go over to WrestleTalk podcast later on today, where myself and Chopper Pete will be breaking down both shows in detail. Until then, stay beautiful and jam that jam, LIW for life.
One time when I was a little girl, they got like a newspaper and they rolled it into a funnel and they stuck it into my ear, right? Like the pointy part. And then they set flames on the newspaper on the top with like a lighter, so the smoke would essentially take out the air from my ear. But I can't do that by myself right now. Can you imagine?
Denise, that sounds like witchcraft.
No,
it sounds like you went to a
worked.
coven to get something
No,
done.
it worked. Like right away, I could hear the pop in my ear, and I was like, I'm free of the pain.